Thank you, Shada. Thank you, panel. Some of you may have seen and maybe even participated that one of the sessions which were organized was called the ID-ton. For me, I never heard of the word, so I attended parts of the session. But it actually was a rather interesting project, a combination of the work of the Public Interest Research Center, our own organization, FRA, and particular a group of creatives looking at new ways to communicate human rights. Let's first take a look, just a very incredibly short clip of what this ID-ton was all about, bringing together YouTubers, illustrators, cartoonists, photographers, filmmakers, musicians. Let's take a look.
I think what we all have in common is that sense that it's about belonging and that we should put out positive messages.
How do we create visually engaging material that inspires and motivates young people?
That the artist can help to transport this message that has to do with us all.
Okay. Guys, take a seat or stand, what you like. Good. Just before we started with the closing plenary, I attended a very interesting panel debate on the role of arts in promoting belonging. And a question at the very end was put to the panelists, namely, what would be your single most important recommendation on how to get the message across? And one of the panelists, I was very struck by this, answered by giving young people a microphone. And this is what we're going to do now. So I would like to invite Nadi, who is UK Ambassador for YouTube Creators for Change. You have the floor.
All right, I'll take the opportunity to feel very official, speak to everyone on the podium. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak today. Out of everyone here, hands up, I'm going to try and make this as integrating as possible. Out of everyone here, who watches YouTube? Hands up. Okay, wow, a lot more than I'd imagined. How many of your kids or your nephews or your nieces who are under the age of 25 watch YouTube? Right, so that's significantly more people. YouTube is a youth medium. It's the medium of today. I am Nadir. I'm a YouTuber. I have a channel called Benny, and roughly, in a very short story, my YouTube channel is about providing an alternative space for young people who've been misrepresented or alienated for most of their life. I am a British boy, young, brown, male, Muslim man, and growing up, I never felt like I had a space to eloquently or present who I was. All I had was the references to what mainstream media was telling me who I am, and I never really had a platform to provide the alternative narrative of my own life. Actually, this kind of dynamic, this event, this world, isn't so alien to me. Funnily enough, when I graduated, I ended up working in development. So I was at Chatham House for a while, and then I was working at United Nations in the Middle East, working at various refugee camps. And then something happened where I felt a gradual irritation or a frustration that I wasn't able to creatively express myself. You all know how institutions work here, I'm sure, the bureaucracy and the back and forth that tends to happen. And I actually presented an idea to my seniors. I said, look, guys, I feel particularly passionate about this project, about the kind of alienation that young Muslims are feeling in Britain in particular. I'd love to do a video. And again, guys, this is like 5-6 years ago, so YouTube was a completely different landscape. So it wasn't as pronounced or as fleshed out as we understand it today. It was still very much in its preliminary phase. And I said, do you guys know that Pharrell Happy video? Hands up if anyone recognizes the Pharrell Happy video. Great. Okay, so basically it was a really popular song. It went super viral, and I was like, oh, we should jump on this viral bandwagon and create a parody, a Muslim parody, representing the eclectic and cosmopolitan nature of the British Muslim community at that time. They laughed at me, long story short. They were kind of like, get back to your desk and focus on the work that you need to be doing. They didn't really take me seriously. And in that moment, I felt like I didn't have a creative voice within the institution I was working in. So I did it anyway. I went back to the UK to finish my master's with the intention of going back to my same old job. And my mother had a camera on the sofa. So I picked it up. I'd had no video production experience in my life. I sent some emails to the community that I am part of. And I made this video. It was basically a parody of this song, and it basically had lots of different Muslim representations within it. I posted it at 7 p.m. that night, and I slept because for 2 weeks I had been filming straight and I was exhausted. I woke up in the morning, and can anyone guess how many views it had in the space of about 10 hours? Hands up, just give me some rough numbers. Anyone shout something at me? 2 million. Start high. Now if I go below that, then give me a break. Any other numbers? I'll take 2 more. 2 more guesses. 10,000. One more. 100,000. When I'd woken up, it had 1.4 million views. And this is someone who had never made a video before. He had edited it in his high school bedroom and had no idea what he was doing. And in that moment, one, I was so angry, I wanted to go back to my office and be like, told you guys this was a good idea, right? But secondly, it was like, wow, I can mobilize global audiences with shared sentiment and really make impactful change that I could see. I could see the follow-through. And that was a really powerful moment for me. And it was proof to me that we are in deep need of innovative and dynamic ways to present the same ideas that all of us in this room have been working for most of our lives. I felt like I didn't have a voice at the UN, but what was so special and what was so formative about the last 3 days, it was that it was one of the few events that creatives like myself did have a voice. And that's what the Ideathon and the organizers of the Ideathon gave us today, and I'm very fortunate for that opportunity. So over the course of the last 3 days, we've been discussing creative and cool ways to kind of work together to present issues like human rights and different social issues. How can we come together, people from different inclinations, specialties, expertise? How can we come together and collaborate to make some meaningful content? Because it's all about getting young people interested in substantial topics. And one thing that particularly stood out for me was this idea of narrative frames. We were talking about how certain frames that we might build, even in good intentions, might be perpetuating certain stereotypes about certain people. For example, something I feel really passionate about is that I get invited a lot to talk about radicalization and terrorism because it's relevant to my community, or seemingly relevant to my community. But actually, liberation for me is being able to come to a platform and not have to talk about that at all. It has nothing to do with me. So why do I have to speak about something that represents perhaps 0.01% of my community? So what's really interesting about the creative space right now, we're talking about creating alternative spaces that actually don't engage in this discourse at all. That is real narrative liberation. And throughout the course of the last 3 days, we've been discussing how to do that, but still achieve tangible institutional goals while still kind of approaching this topic in a nuanced way. So we're sat here today to kind of save established institutions and their comm strategies, which at times can seem like they're a bit 3 steps behind. Over the last 3 days, we've been hashing ideas to figure out how can we get ahead for the very first time. And I would love to thank the organizers who've provided us this space and this opportunity, and for all of you who've made us feel like we belong here. We dress differently. I think you spot us from the other side of the room, but not at any point did I feel like we didn't belong here. So I hope this can continue. And again, I would like to thank you for the great opportunity. And to all of you, thank you very much for listening.
Thanks a lot, Nadir, and I'm definitely impressed by your 1.4 million, don't worry. Okay, let's hear from Alice Sakrida, who is storyteller and creative researcher. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Brice. I want everybody here now to just stop for a moment, maybe close your eyes if you want to, and think about what it would feel like to walk into your local train station, or maybe your underground station, and instead of seeing adverts that tell you what to wear or what to buy, I want you to imagine that you can see pictures and illustrations of people who live and work in your community. And I want you to imagine that you can read about their lives and that you can read about their identity and that it's written in their own words. This is a project that I'm developing in London. It's called Odyssey Stories. We're beginning to work with disused advertising space across the London Tube network. And we want to really inspire people to feel more connected to others in their community, working in public spaces. And we want people to feel less like consumers and more like citizens. And we really want to show that identities can be multiple and complex and fluid. So, over the past few days, here at the Ideathon, I've been chatting with some of you throughout the forum, and I've been asking you to describe your identity in your own words, and I've been asking you what home feels like to you. It's been a real privilege to listen to you all and to listen to some of your responses. Themes of family and love, warmth and friendship have come up time and time again. And this really highlights just how important it is for us to talk about the values that we share when we talk about human rights. The love and the connection that we feel from our family and our friends is something that we can all relate to. And you've talked about your identity in such imaginative, individual, and personal ways. Everyone truly has their own story. It's been a real honor to be part of the Ideathon here at the Forum. I truly believe that artists and creatives have wonderful ways of getting right to the heart of the issues. They often leave behind the jargon and they get right to the point. It's so refreshing to hear new voices communicate human rights in brave and imaginative ways. And it's exciting to hear that creatives, and the YouTubers in particular, are using such authentic storytelling to reach out to large audiences. I believe that the Ideathon has really helped to highlight the importance of feelings, the significance of framing effectively, and the need to connect really authentically when we communicate messages around human rights. All of this reminds me of one of my favorite quotes by Maya Angelou, which I want to leave with you now. I've learned that people will forget what you said, and people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Alice. And last, certainly not least, Maxim Noyes. I already referred to him yesterday when I said I was very jealous of his 100,000 followers. He's a German ambassador for YouTube Creators for Change, and we're going to get a world premiere. So he's going to rap. We will have music in a moment on a clip. He will rap in German, and our incredible, fantastic transcribers there are going to try to keep up with the pace and provide de facto English subtitles. Maxime, make a lot of noise.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you. I just prepared a speech, and in the end, there should be the surprise that I'm gonna do a rap for you. So it's worthless now, but no problem. Sometimes in life you have to be spontaneous. When I was invited to participate in the Ideathon at the Fundamental Rights Forum, I was pretty surprised because I just started as a paramedic doing music on YouTube, and then over 3 weeks I went from 3,000 to 30,000 subscribers. So I'm pretty thankful for YouTube to giving me the chance to be the German ambassador for Creators for Change. But I think we all over here want to have change. We all want to create change, but some of us don't still sure how to do it. And the thing that we found out in Adiathlon and that we are sure about is that it's all about hope and encouraging. If you always repeat bad news and if you only focus on bad things, you cannot send out positive things. So just one short story. When my sister, for example, was pregnant, I was thinking about all this pregnancy stuff, and I went out and I saw pregnant people everywhere. So that's your responsibility, I think, maybe to trigger attention by talking about bad things, but then at the same time offering solutions. So I'm not used to speak in front of you guys, but I hope you will enjoy the music. That's my kind of language. Have fun. It's a world premiere. It's part of the Creators for Change program. I was asked, what would you, the world, to think? And I think that all of you have a voice, and please don't silence your voice. Speak out for the good thing, and have fun with it starts within you, es beginnt in dir. Thank you. Immer wenn jemand lacht, es beginnt in dir. Immer wenn jemand weint, es beginnt in dir. Immer wenn jemand hasst, es beginnt in dir. Immer wenn jemand liebt, es beginnt in dir. Du setzt einen Schritt vor die Tür und siehst so viel Mist, der passiert. Ganz egal, ob es dich interessiert. Mann, du bist jetzt mit involviert. Versuchst dich nicht zu verlieren, doch jeder Blick macht dich verrückt, bis ein kleines Stück von dir stirbt. Es hinterlässt Narben auf der Seele. Wenn die Farben wieder fehlen, benebeln sie Sinne. Die Spinner sind da, um dich zu quälen. Sie erzählen ihre Lügen, nehmen Stück für Stück die Menschlichkeit und prophezeien ständig das Ende, damit du ängstlich bleibst. Das innere Kind ist aber nicht blind, denn es nimmt alles auf. Was immer sie sagen, immer sie fragen, fragst du dich am Ende auch. Sie bieten der dich zerstörst. Wir bieten der Lösung, doch wollen verblöden, bis du dich zerstörst. Umgeben von Wesen, die gegen das Leben gehen und im Regen stehen, wegen denen wir anstatt Wegen nur noch Schäden sehen. Hier. Schlechtes Benehmen von morgens früh bis abends spät, wenn sich über ihren weichen Kern die harte Schale legt. Immer wenn jemand lacht, es beginnt in dir. Immer wenn jemand weint, es beginnt in dir. Immer wenn jemand hasst, es beginnt in dir. Immer wenn jemand liebt, es beginnt in dir. Und dann hat die kleinste Idee den größten Wert. Wenn jemand aufsteht, sich gegen das Böse wehrt, kommt nach dem tiefsten Tal der höchste Berg auf Gutes voll Gutes und du bist die Quelle. Das Leben im Fluss, denn du sendest die Welle nicht gegen das Dunkle. Du förderst das Helle, es liegt in deiner Hand. Niemand an deiner Stelle kann tun, was du tust. Was du kannst, ist, du bringst die Menschen wieder zusammen. Denn zu lang hattest du Angst, jetzt läuft nur noch Mut im Programm. Du bist einfach nur nett und das startet die Kettenreaktion. Viele kleine Helfer retten die Nation. Ein Lächeln und schon folgt ein besserer Ton. Die Heizer fängt schon an, dein Herz zu bedrohen. Aber jetzt ist es so, dass du weißt, was du sendest. Alles um dich herum weiter verändert. Überzeugungen kennen kein Hindernis. Deine Ideen erreichen ihr Inneres. Sie beginnen es zu verstehen, des Gedanken zu hegen. So ist wie ein Samen zu sehen. Und auf einmal ist es gar kein Problem mehr, die Wahrheit zu sehen, um die Lage zu drehen. Für all die Farben des Lebens willst du den Wahnsinn besiegen und mit der wahren Liebe endlich in den Armen liegen. Dein gutes Benehmen von morgens früh bis abends steht, wenn sich durch die harte Schale jetzt der weiche Kern schlägt. Immer wenn jemand lacht, es beginnt in dir. Immer wenn jemand weint, es beginnt in dir. Immer wenn jemand lacht, es beginnt in dir. Immer wenn jemand liebt, es beginnt in dir.
Beginnt in dir. News 89.4. Geile Story, wo der Song herkommt, echt. Hier macht gerade eine Kinderzeichnung die Runde. Keiner weiß so genau, wo die so her ist. Drauf ist ein Mensch, der einem anderen aus der Grube hilft. Alles so in die Richtung Freunde, helft miteinander. Und da springen jetzt alle drauf an. Musiker, Maler, die Leute sprechen drüber, finden zueinander wegen der Kinderzeichnung. Das muss man sich mal reinziehen. Der Neusser Bürgermeister Rainer Breuer hat sogar extra in der Sommerpause gerade eine Ratssitzung einberufen.
Immer wenn jemand lacht, es beginnt in dir. Immer wenn jemand weint, es beginnt in dir. Immer wenn jemand hasst, es beginnt in dir. Immer wenn jemand liebt, es beginnt in dir. folgt Liebe und Frust folgt auf Frust. Ein jeder kann Großes vollbringen, alles hier beginnt in dir drin. Also lebe dein Leben bewusst, denn auf Liebe folgt Liebe und Frust folgt auf Frust. Ein jeder kann Großes vollbringen, alles hier. Hands up, come on everybody, come on. Immer wenn jemand lacht, es beginnt in dir. Immer wenn jemand weint, where are your hands? Come on, you all got 2 hands. Show me one of them. Come on, show me your hands. Yeah, let's do it together. Everybody, come on, woo! Immer wenn jemand lacht, es beginnt in dir. Immer wenn jemand weint, es beginnt in dir. Immer wenn jemand hasst, es beginnt in dir. Immer wenn jemand liebt, es beginnt in dir. Es beginnt in dir. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much. I think there's been no translation,
Applause.
right? There's been no translation, but I guess you get the message right. And yeah, I hope that encouraged you to send a positive message out there. Thanks for me. Thanks for having me, and have a good travel back. Thank you so much, and have a good time. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Maxime. You have just increased your number of followers from 100,000 to 100,600. Maxime.